Hey, so for day 2 of the Jump Rope Exploration Month, I realized we need to talk through some of the basics of safety, as well as it would be very helpful to talk through the principles so that you could get your mind around it first before you attempt it physically, which we'll do in the next post. So let's start with some of the safety issues. I did say you do not need a lot of space at all to jump rope, and that is true. However, in the beginning, let's make sure that we have enough floor space. We're not too close to the wall or furniture with things that we could knock over or trip over. And then the flooring itself, any indoor flooring, unless it's like concrete, especially if it's wooden floor, usually will have a little bit of a give. So that's where you would start. And then depending on that give, you would dictate or if it's on carpet, then you may or may not need additional padding like a thin yoga mat. And then shoes is a good idea if you can, tennis shoes with good support in the front. So those are your safety tips. So a couple of other tips in general. If at all possible, do it in front of a mirror so that you can watch your form. And then as far as storing your jump ropes, instead of the tangled mess that I showed you yesterday, this is how I normally store it, and so should you, where it's hanging so that any of the tension is away out of the rope, as well as it not being tangled up and getting kinks. Now, the temperature, if it's extreme cold or extreme heat, will affect the PVC type of jump ropes. Now, whereas you can't do anything about that, if you have it, curled up, then it could cause, unnecessary kinks. So have it hanging. All right, so now let's go through the actual principles of the basic bounce. The basic bounce is the very basic and type of jump that you need to start with and get very proficient at before you move on. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to safety of your clothing. So I'm a very good example of what not to do. Ladies, you want the hair out of the way. You don't want earrings or any jewelry hanging. And even for guys, you don't want to be wearing like a hoodie, sweatshirt, or with the strings in the front. So just make sure that you don't have anything on your person that could get in the way. Okay. All right, so let's talk through the form. Let's start with the feet up. So when you're landing in the jump rope, it's always on the balls of your feet. So the action of the heel coming down is just following the ball of the foot landing. So you're never landing flat-footed. Okay, so that's for safety reasons. And your feet are going to be together. And then you want your knees not locked. You don't want it too forward. You want just the soft, controlled softness, bounciness to the knees. And that's fairly easy to remember to do if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and being very aware of being very tall. So in order to remain tall, you can't be kicking your knees forward. Okay, so moving on up, we're going to hit the actual key and secret to jump roping, which is your hand, which is your wrist. So a couple things here. Position of your hands, you want to, if you have the mirror, go ahead and check yourself, because you want to be symmetrical in this. So you want that U shape of the jump rope as it clears your body. You want to see symmetry. So the hands are going to be 45 degrees out, your forearm to your hands, from about the level of your waistline, and the elbow is not going to be flared out. It's going to be very close to your ribs, not jammed in, but very close. Shoulders relaxed. So your hand position will be kind of tilted up, also in 45-degree angle. So not completely out here and not turned around. How you grip your jump rope in order to help keep that position is that your thumb should be basically the top side of your view. So you wrap your 4 fingers around it instead of fisting it. You want to wrap just the 4 fingers, your thumb rests on top, and you don't want to grip it. You want to grip it so light that someone could easily pop this out of your hand. You just don't want to drop it. So from here, the key is the wrist movement. That's it. So if your wrist rotates like this, or moves back and forth, or comes up from that level that we've set, that's going to change, of course, via the width or the height. It's going to change that level of the jump rope, so you won't be able to clear it in the even fashion. So think about that symmetry. Think about keeping your hands on the same level, and that as you clear it, you should see that U shape go over your head with the same amount of space in between. So you're not rotating that that arm at all. It's just your wrist. It's a light rotation of the wrist. That's the key, and that's basically going to take you through the principles to keep in mind. So I'll see you in the next post to actually try some of the jumps.